What if everything you see around you has already happened before? Not in a poetic sense. Not as a metaphor, but literally. What if this universe, this version of reality, is not the first attempt? What if it has been reset, again and again, and we are simply the latest version, living inside a system that has restarted more times than we could ever imagine? This idea sounds like science fiction, but the uncomfortable truth is this. Modern physics is slowly drifting toward questions that feel exactly like this. Questions that suggest reality may not be a one-time event, but a repeating process. A system that runs, breaks, resets, and runs again. And if that's true, then the most disturbing question is not how many times it has happened before, but why we daren't remember any of it. Let's begin with something strange that almost everyone has experienced at least once. Déjà vu. That sudden eerie feeling that you've already lived a moment before. Same place, same words, same emotions. Science usually explains this as a brain glitch, a delay in memory processing, a harmless error. But here's the problem. Déjà vu doesn't feel like confusion. It feels like recognition, like your mind briefly touched something it wasn't supposed to access. Now imagine this on a cosmic scale. What if reality itself has déjà vu? When physicists study the universe, they notice something odd. The laws of physics don't feel random. They feel finalized, as if someone pressed save and never changed them again. The constants of nature are tuned with extreme precision. Gravity, electromagnetism, the strength of nuclear forces. Change any of them even slightly, and the universe collapses before complexity can exist. This is known as the fine-tuning problem, and it's one of the biggest mysteries in science. Some say it's luck, others say it's the multiverse. Countless universes exist, and we just happen to be in the one that works. But there's another possibility that's far more unsettling. What if these laws aren't random, but stable because they've already failed before? In computer systems, when something crashes repeatedly, engineers eventually lock in a version that works. They stop experimenting. They preserve the stable build. Now ask yourself this. What if reality works the same way? What if earlier versions of the universe collapsed because their rules didn't allow stability, memory, or complexity? And what if this version is simply the one that survived long enough to notice itself? Physics gives us a clue. There is a concept called entropy, the gradual increase of disorder. The universe always moves toward higher entropy, toward heat death, toward a state where no meaningful work can be done. In simple terms, everything runs down. But here's what's strange. At the very beginning of the universe, entropy was extremely low, almost impossibly low. That's not what you'd expect from a random beginning. That's what you'd expect from a reset. Think about it. When you restart a system, you wipe the clutter. You begin from a clean, ordered state. Some cosmologists have proposed models where the universe doesn't begin once, but repeatedly. Big bangs, followed by expansion, decay, collapse, and then another beginning. Not as a smooth cycle, but as resets. Each one erasing memory, each one starting fresh. If that's true, then time itself may not be linear. It may be more like a loop that forgets itself every time it completes. And this explains something deeply strange about our existence. Why does consciousness emerge so quickly in the cosmic timeline? The universe is nearly 14 billion years old. That sounds like a lot. But life appeared relatively early once conditions allowed it. Intelligence followed, self-awareness, curiosity, technology, minds that question the nature of reality itself. That's fast. Too fast, some argue, for a purely accidental process. Unless intelligence is not a rare coincidence, but an expected outcome. Unless the universe keeps rebuilding itself in ways that allow observers to emerge again and again. In that case, consciousness may not be the purpose of the universe, but its signal. A sign that the system has reached a stable state once more. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. If reality has reset before, then whatever existed previously didn't carry over. No memories, no records, no warnings, except maybe some things did survive. Mathematics, for example, feels discovered, not invented. The same equations describe reality everywhere. Prime numbers behave the same in every corner of the cosmos. Geometry doesn't change. Logic doesn't decay. What if these are not abstract truths, but the deepest remnants of previous versions? The rules that were preserved because everything else failed? Even more unsettling is the role of information. Modern physics increasingly suggests that information cannot be destroyed. Black holes don't erase it, they encode it. Space itself may be a storage medium. Reality might not be built from matter, but from information. If that's true, then a full reset may not erase everything. It may compress it, hide it, scatter it beyond recognition. And what if consciousness, awareness, is the one thing that keeps reappearing no matter how many times reality restarts? Not because it's special, but because it's inevitable. Consider this. Complex systems tend to develop feedback loops. Systems that observe themselves become more stable, more adaptable, more resilient. Consciousness is the ultimate feedback loop. A system that knows it exists. If the universe is a process that keeps restarting, then conscious observers might be its way of testing itself. Monitoring itself, learning what works. That doesn't mean the universe has intentions. It doesn't mean it thinks or plans. But intelligence doesn't need intention to emerge. Ant colonies don't plan cities, yet they build them. Brains don't plan thoughts, yet they produce them. Now imagine reality on that scale. What if civilizations rise, not to conquer the universe, but to observe it, to map it, to remember it, to ask questions it cannot ask on its own? That would make us less like accidents, and more like temporary sensors. And then there's time. Physics allows equations where time runs forward and backward equally. The laws don't care which direction time flows. The arrow of time, the feeling that time moves forward, may exist only because memory exists. Memory requires entropy to increase. If the universe resets, memory resets with it, which means each version feels like the first, every time. And maybe that's why the universe feels so strangely familiar to us, even though we've never been here before. We feel small, but connected, insignificant, yet central, as if reality is vast, but built in a way that allows minds like ours to exist inside it. Now consider the darkest implication of all. If reality has reset before, it can reset again. Not tomorrow, not soon, but eventually. Stars will burn out, galaxies will drift apart, energy will spread thin, complexity will fade, awareness will disappear. And when the universe reaches a state where nothing meaningful can happen anymore, what then? Some theories suggest collapse, others suggest quantum fluctuation, others suggest something even stranger, that a new beginning becomes statistically inevitable. A restart. No memory of us, no trace of our stories, no record of our fears or hopes, except maybe in the structure of the next universe, in the constants that are just slightly different, in the laws that feel just as precise, in minds that once again wake up and ask the same questions. What if future beings will look at their universe and feel the same strange intuition we feel now? That something about reality feels tested, stable, like a version that survived. If that's true, then our role is not to escape the universe, not to outlive it, not to defeat entropy. Our role is simpler and heavier, to observe, to understand, to remember while memory still exists. Because if reality resets again, everything we build will vanish. But the fact that it once existed at all may shape what comes next. So the next time you experience déjà vu, or look at the night sky and feel something you can't explain, ask yourself this: are you living in the first version of reality, or just the latest one that hasn't restarted yet? And if the universe does reset again, what would you want it to learn from us before it does?